Alright, so in the last videos, we looked at distance, we looked at midpoint. We're now up to our final type of formula we need to look for. We need to solve for slope. Now, distance finds out how long something is. Midpoint finds the middle of it. Slope tells us how far up and down. It tells us about how the slope of the line or which direction it's pointing. If you think about ski slopes, if you go to like snowflakes, it has those big hills. Those are called slopes because they're going downhill. So as we look left to right, we're going to understand how slope works based off this graph. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So notice they give us a line, they ask for the slope. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to find two good places on my line to choose points. So the first one doesn't matter. So notice here, notice how the graph, horizontal, vertical, and the line all come to one point. We want to choose one of those points. Those are the good points. Now, we want to find another point just like that further down the graph. Now, we want to find the first one we can find. So I'm just going to start there where I was at and keep looking, right there. All right, there's another good place. If you go too far, you're going to have to simplify your fraction. So just find the closest one. Now, we're going to make a right triangle from that spot. So we're going to do our rise first and then our run. All right. Just like that. So once you graph it, it tells you, hey, good job, you've found the two segments, let's go from there. So what we're going to do, just like distance on a graph, we're going to count the boxes. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 boxes on the side, and then let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 boxes on top. Now, our slope formula is super easy. Easiest one we have so far. It's rise over run. So I'm going to take the 3, I'm going to put it on top. 4, I'm going to put it on the bottom. Now I need to do one last thing before I submit the answer. I need to check, is this a positive slope or a negative slope? Now you might be saying, hey, Mr. Arslan, how would I know if it's a positive or negative slope? Well, let me show you. As you go left to right, okay, so we're going to start over here on my graph, we're going to go to the right. So I'm starting here, going this way. As I go left to right, I look and say, am I going uphill or downhill? You can kind of think about this like money in the bank. Do I have more money in the bank or less money in the bank? Well, if the line's going up, that's positive. That's like more money in the bank. If the line's going down, that's negative. That's like less money in the bank. So we're going uphill. This is positive 3 over 4. And that's going to be my final answer. 3 over 4. Done. All right, let's check that. Looks good. All right. And it even draws the triangle for you and gives you the slope. So let's try another problem here. Let me find a good one. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Don't like that one. Don't like that one. There we go. All right. So let's take a look at something like this. All right. So this is going to be a little bit of a tough one. Let's find a good point here. I think I see one right there. That looks like a good point to me. Now, you're going to have to look real carefully because that looks like a good point, but it's not quite. We want to make sure it's going exactly through the line. Up right there looks like a good point. So I'm going to go ahead and make my triangle, do my rise and run first, and then my horizontal. Let's count up our boxes. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 on the side, on the left side, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got 4 on the bottom here. So 5 over 4. We do our rise, we do our up and down over our left and right. So rise over run is 5 over 4. Now wait, before we plug it in, we got to check one more last time. Is this positive or is this negative? Well, if I'm looking at this as I'm going left to right, it's going downhill. So that tells me this is a negative 5 over 4. So when I'm doing this, I get negative 5 over 4. So let's go ahead and plug that in. Negative 5 over 4. And let's check our answer. Make sure we want to submit. Yes. All right. And that's how we're going to do slope. One last thing. If you run into a slope that looks something like this, you might get like a 3 over 1 slope. Remember that anything over 1 is just itself. So 3 over 1 is just equal to 3. And it's going to want you to put the answer in as 3 if it's 3 over 1 instead of 3. So if you run into something over 1, remember, that's just the same as the number in your numerator. All right, with that, you should be good to go to solve slope problems on your own.